This is the ABC 10 News Streamline, everything you need to know in under 10 minutes. The Senate is out of Washington now after a 10th failed vote to fund and reopen the government. They're not going to return until Monday. Even if a funding bill gets passed out of the Senate, it would still have a long way to go, passing through the House and then going to President Trump's desk before the government could reopen. That means federal workers are likely going to go another few weeks without getting paid. Up until now, Republicans have held off on voting to pay workers. Yesterday, Democrats blocked a bill that would have funded the Pentagon for a full year. Both the Republican and Democrat-backed version of funding bills need 60 votes to advance out of the Senate. So either way, some lawmakers are going to need to cross party lines.
There's a path forward, I believe.
But yes or
no? It has to include reforms. And can I guarantee an outcome? No.
The American people are facing one of the most devastating crises they have faced in terms of cost, and we still have not heard crickets out of any negotiation with Johnson or with Thune.
As this government shutdown stretches on, nearly 750,000 workers have been furloughed. Another 4,000 have been laid off. At the White House, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky will meet with President Trump today. He's expected to ask for air defense systems like Tomahawk missiles. Those have a long enough range for Ukraine to strike Moscow. Trump is considering giving them to Ukraine. He even mentioned that during a call with Russian President Vladimir Putin yesterday. Now, Trump plans to meet with Putin in Hungary over the next few weeks to discuss a possible end to the war. This morning, former National Security Advisor John Bolton says he's simply the latest victim of President Trump's campaign to prosecute his political enemies. Bolton's been indicted for mishandling classified information. He's accused of sharing more than 1,000 pages of notes about government activities over a personal email account. Bolton says he's done nothing wrong. He was once one of Trump's top advisors, but became one of the president's most vocal critics after leaving the administration in 2019. Bolton is now the third high-profile official to be charged criminally in the last 3 weeks. We've got new details on this week's ICE raid in Encinitas. A spokesperson for the agency says that this operation focused on detaining undocumented immigrants who are also accused of throwing rocks at federal agents. Cell phone video captured the raid at a construction site on Quail Gardens Drive and Encinitas Boulevard. The spokesperson said every ICE officer clearly identified themselves and wore visible badges. ICE also says that the people they apprehended had prior charges for DUI, disorderly conduct, hit-and-run crashes, driving without a license, and sexual battery. There's a new security alert for Americans traveling in Tijuana after an explosive attack just a mile from the border. This video shows the blast. ABC 10 News reporter Jane Kim spoke with experts about why this building, the Baja California State Attorney General's office, was targeted and what this could mean for travelers.
Explosions rocked this facility in Tijuana Wednesday night. Drop after drop believed to be carried out by drones. The facility is owned by the Baja California State Attorney General's office. Ron B., a national security expert, says it's important to understand who the cartels are fighting against.
The cartels, their main business is the United States. 97% of all illegal drugs are consumed in the United States. And that means that the cartel's main business is here.
U.S. officials are asking American travelers to avoid the area as law enforcement investigates the incident. This comes as the State Department also warns of a risk of violence escalating from terrorist groups, cartels, gangs, and criminal organizations in Baja California. Right now, there's a level 3 security alert for Americans traveling to that area. Maria Montgomery is a spokesperson for AAA.
I would just recommend that people look on the State Department website and look at what the advice is that is given for that particular area, because they do customize the warnings depending on what actually is happening in each area.
In this case, there were no injuries from the explosions, but there was damage to 6 of the vehicles.
State Department regularly puts out announcements to be careful about where you travel in Mexico. And so this is not unusual. So the idea is just be careful whenever you travel to Mexico, but particularly areas that they suggest you avoid.
Jane Kim, ABC 10 News.
And the rock and roll world is remembering Ace Frehley this morning. The original guitarist for Kiss died on Thursday at 74 years old. Frehley's family says he passed away in New Jersey following a fall at his home. Frehley co-founded the band in 1973. He became famous for his spaceman persona. In 2014, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with Kiss. He leaves behind a wife, daughter, and 2 siblings. To your consumer news, it may not feel like it, but the U.S. is sitting on a surplus of new homes. Right now, the country has the highest number of homes for sale since 2009. Scripps News Group's national correspondent Holly Furfer shows how buyers can take advantage.
Realtor Danny Robinson sees firsthand the financial stress people face when buying a home.
I have one little gal right now, and she's in this market, and she's in that under $450,000 price point, and she's struggling a little bit.
One option home buyers should consider: new construction, according to Realtor.com chief economist Danielle Hale.
Especially if you're in regions of the country where we've seen a lot of new construction, and that's in the South and in the West.
In August, there were 124,000 new completed homes for sale. That's a level the U.S. hasn't seen since the financial crisis in 2009. Mike Garabedian is a home builder and owner of Garabedian Properties in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. He says in that region alone, jobs have slowed from about 100,000 new jobs per year to about 60,000.
So we're building 45,000 homes, but we're only selling 30-something thousand homes.
Even though the U.S. is still facing a housing shortage, many potential buyers cannot afford the homes on the market. Garabedian says the $300,000 to $400,000 homes buyers are after are now $500,000 to $700,000 thanks to the cost of borrowing and ever-changing building codes. Hale says an elevated supply could benefit those ready to buy, with some builders offering incentives and deals.
Everything from mortgage rate buydowns to cash at closing to appliance upgrades or inclusions in the buying package. So if you haven't considered new construction, it is worth taking a look.
Garabedian says lower mortgage rates have sparked more interest in building or buying.
We're not where we need to be, but it's going in the right direction.
He's confident newly built homes will sell. It's just a matter of when. Holly Furfer, Scripps News Group.
It is peanut butter jelly time in federal court. Smucker's is suing Trader Joe's over the Uncrustables sandwich. Smucker's says that the Trader Joe's version is a copycat, and they have a trademark on their round pie-like shape with that distinct crimping around the edges.
Typically, you can't trademark the ingredients of a sandwich or the recipe, but if it has a shape or other features that are unique that are not functional, you can get trademark protection for that.
Now, the company also says that Trader Joe's packaging mimics their own because that blue color is too similar to the color used in the Uncrustables logo, and that it even features a sandwich with a bite taken out of it, just like theirs. Interesting to see how that plays out. I do really enjoy a good peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's your ABC 10 News Streamline. Everything you need to know today in under 10 minutes.